title, which is good. I'm not a fan of that new Intercontinental belt, though. I don't know what it is. Probably just the old school in me. I was such a fan of the old way the belt used to look. But it was one of the few ones that hadn't changed its look all that much. But that's a small thing in amongst all this. Who have you got down for this one? And is this going to be a retaining moment for Sami Zayn, or do you think they're going to put the title with Daniel Bryan?
I'm going to hope for a retain. Although I don't like little faction.
Yeah, what weird.
Yeah, variety, isn't it?
This is like, here's our mid-carders that we like, but not enough. So let's put them all together.
And it's just weird.
It reminds me of League of Nations rubbish that happened years back. Like, it was such a weird combination. This is just, like you say, it's like they've just basically thought there's nothing else we can do with you. Just stick together.
Yeah, and that's a shame because all three are so talented. Or all five of them.
Yeah.
So talented, and it's just like they're just they're so awkwardly put together and booked. But I like Sami Zayn as a mouthpiece for Cesaro and Shinsuke. I do like him as the mouthpiece. I just think it's just a weird faction. I'd hope Sami retains. I'd hope Sami retains. Just because I'm thinking maybe because he's been out for so long without wrestling because of like his shoulder problems. I'm thinking like they've given him Daniel Bryan, who they trust, to be safe, and to gently ease Sami Zayn back into the ring.
But not safe for work.
Yeah, but then like Daniel Bryan, sometimes he's crazy when he gets out there. You never know with him. Sometimes he does go 100 miles an hour in his matches. But yeah, for me, it's just a shame looking at somebody like Shinsuke Nakamura, who, of course, was had won the Rumble a few years back, went into the match of AJ Styles, and ever since that match, really, even though I thought the heel turn would help him, it's sort of done nothing for the guy. He's just in the middle of nowhere at the moment. I mean, I can't believe at one time, for me anyway, he was, for me, like the best performer on the planet when he was in New Japan right at the end. And when WWE signed him, I thought, you can't go wrong with this. You just cannot get this one wrong from Japan. Like, I know previous imports have always been a disaster, but I thought with Shinsuke Nakamura, there's something about him. But still, they've managed to sort of mess it up a bit. And his character is it's all over the place. Like, strong style seems to have been forgotten. And it's all about this artist stuff now. And the look that he has is kind of a mix of, what was that guy, Flash Funk, and somebody else. It's just awful for me. That's about right.
I think strong. His style of work was never going to get over with Vince. Like the whole strong, the whole Japanese style. I don't think Vince is a fan of, and if Vince if Vince's not a fan of it, then you're not gonna. You can only go so far with the character,
Yeah,
I think it's a shame. Because it's like so. Because it was the same with Kenta. Kent is same thing.
Yeah.
But either through injury or just not getting who Kenta is, just put in the middle of the card or at the bottom of the card. It's a shame, Same with Cesaro. Cesaro's been there for years, and he's such an amazing talent. Unbelievable.
I don't know why they haven't put him back with Sheamus. Sheamus still is injured, but they're giving him a couple squash matches. Put the team back together. They were such a good tag team.
Them two versus Miz and Morrison.
That would be so good.
That would be so good.
Yeah, they've got to get that at some point.
They got to get that ball rolling. But yeah, but trying to stay on topic. I'd say a win for Sami Zayn.
Yeah, fair enough. Talking of The Miz and John Morrison, they're defending their titles. They're up against the New Day, Big E and Kofi at this one, and the Usos. Like, seems like the New Day and Usos, they've been against each other for quite some time now. Like, those two teams are so established in name value in WWE, which is both good and bad. At the same time, we've got the Miz and Morrison back together again, and freshens it up a bit, I suppose. Triple threat ladder match. Is this one of those ones where they're thinking it can't go wrong with having that stipulation on top of it as well, and this is going to be something to pick up the pace a bit on the card?
I think, yeah, like I do want to get more hyped for it, but like I think putting, and I do like all three teams, and I like that they've put the focus on those three teams, but it's a bit hard going from a tag team elimination chamber match, to a tag team ladder, to like a triple threat tag team ladder match, and at the Performance Center as well. I think that's the one that's going to suffer the most. Yeah. Having just a ladder match at the Performance Center with no fans, I think that's gonna, because it's like, what?
You're gonna climb up the ladder and sit there and just like nothing.
That's why I'm wondering, are they going to like chuck out some crazy sound effects during all this? Like, I just got this feeling that WWE, like, and it might work for the
soundboard.
Yeah, it might work like really negatively as well. I might look at this and think, no, I would have rather it been quiet, because I just don't know what they're going to come up with. But I've just got a feeling in post-edit, they're going to sit down and watch it themselves and be like, we need something there. And they're going to come out with some crazy stuff. But I hope they don't do anything too stupid. But like, I don't want. Do you remember the match between Randy and Bray Wyatt where they started doing the whole effects in the ring whilst it was going on? I really disliked that, and I don't want something similar throughout the whole card of this. But like you say, yeah, I think you might hit the nail on the head there, because like that whole ladder, the way it's normally paced and positioned with fans, you do need to get that reaction. So I suppose it is going to be a bit difficult not to get any feedback if you're a performer in this match. Who have you got in terms of like going over on this one? Are you thinking a retain or?
We'll hope for a retain.
Yeah. Yeah. If not, yeah, I'd say retain. I was going to go like with the Usos, but I think Miz and Morrison, I think it's going to be them, and I reckon they should keep it for a while longer. But then, because I'm thinking who would take it off them down the line.
It's not a lot of choice.
You just have to turn like the Usos back heel again.
Yeah, they're more entertaining heel. Oh, that'd be different.
You know what I would have liked? If they didn't give the New Day the match, but instead they went back to throwback to the WrestleMania that I saw. If they just had them and presenting the show. Them just sitting in the crowd reacting. I think they'd have been much better in that.
Well, there is a host this year. It's Rob
Gronkowski,
yeah, him and Mojo. The match.
I mean,
bros before hoes, and then win tag belts. You know, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I changed my out. It's gonna be, even though they're not in the match, it's gonna be Mojo Rawley and Rob
Gronkowski, and they're going to be added to it or something.
This is the match, and this is the match and win the belts.
There we go. You heard it here first. Now, this is another interesting one. This was thrown together quite late on because they didn't really have much time to do a feud for it. And we know that Bobby Lashley, by all accounts, had coronavirus and came out of it the other side. He'd come back and taped a match with Alyssa Black. Like, on paper, this looks really good, but a lot of people are, at the moment, in my listeners, it's about 90% people were saying Alyssa Black is definitely winning this. But I'm one of the few that actually think Bobby is going over on this one, just because of I've got a feeling that they finally might do something with Bobby this year and position him with a match possibly with Lesnar for a change. But in order to do that, they really need to get him back on firing on all cylinders, because he's been doing some really wacky stuff with this whole Rusev storyline. But what for you? Who's is this a match you'd look at on paper, and is this good for you? And who do you think goes over?
I can see Bobby Lashley going over. I definitely agree with you, but not hyped whatsoever.
Right.
It's a bit like a Finn and Bobby last year, isn't it?
Yeah, I just feel like this is Vince and Vince's guy, Bobby, against Triple H and his guy, and Vince is hell no, shut that down.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Bobby Lashley, especially because like he when he left WWE the first time, and like he had like a decent run in Impact, and he also did like MMA in Bellator, and he had like a good record from what I remember. He's not on like the grander scale as Brock Lesnar, but he's like a legit tough guy who could probably take half the roster in a shoot for sure, or like 75%, 80% maybe of the roster. I do want to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar for sure, but I reckon like Paul Heyman's and Triple H aren't a fan of Bobby Lashley, and they'll go with Alyssa Black.
Yeah, fair enough. There you go. So you got a split decision again now on that one. I'm very much for Bobby and Brock, but only if they get Bobby over. Like they got to get him on a bit of a run, because I kind of feel like when Bobby first come back, they probably should have tried to have gone for that like 6 months later, but Bobby, the way he was presented was sort of back in the mid card for some time. So I feel like they've got to build him up a little bit more to get that match, to feel like he's got a chance anyway.
I feel
winning.
like it's just with Bobby, it's just like situations that are like out of his control. There's him and Leo Rush.
Yeah.
But then Leo got taken away from him and off the road, then home for being outspoken about his opinion, and now they put like Lana with him and the whole Rusev thing, and it's like, well, but once that's over with, where do you go from there? And it's like, I think he's just had like a lot of bad luck, and maybe I don't know, I don't know all the ins and outs, but like maybe it's just a case of like Bobby Lashley's just happy to do whatever, as opposed to like be like, damn it, I want to face Brock Lesnar.
Definitely Vince McMahon all over that storyline. You can tell that Bobby was his guy, and the casting for it was just so odd, but nonetheless, he went with Bobby. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. This is both good and sad for me at the same time, because I know both of these are so talented, and at one point or another they've been at the top, but for some unknown reason they never seem to stick being that elevated and being the main event sort of pull. And they're kind of both at the same sort of situation, and they've been thrown together here. Now, of course, this is a match we've seen a few times, and then we've seen it this year in combinations of tag team matches, but this is a singles match. I have enjoyed the promos they've done with each other. I think they've been very good, and I do think it'll be a good match. But at the same time, I kind of feel like devastating almost for the person that loses in this one, because it'll just be another notch down for one of these guys than the status they're already in at the moment. But like just a point from you guys, like how do you see Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins like as positioned in WWE currently, and why hasn't it worked out for them, do you think?
I think
Rollins has done okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just coming off of last year, like thinking like everybody wanted him to be the guy, and then it happened, and it just went, it just never stuck for me.
I think it was a bit of a I do remember saying this when he won the title, whichever one he won.